everyone. We're going to talk about the social and emotional effects of too much screen time on children. Before we delve into the bulk of the issue, we need to talk about the influence of technology. Western cultures, i.e. the USA, are extremely reliant on both mechanical and non-mechanical technology. Marianne Lawler suggests that the effects of technology go beyond lack of person-to-person communication. She suggests that there are no use for telephone booths. Shopping malls are being put out of business because people can shop at the tip of their fingers on their phones. There are robots that are taking over human jobs in manufacturing plants, and drones are being used on the battlegrounds in lieu of armed humans. Technology isn't all bad, and it's actually very useful. This is especially true when it comes to using it for a force for social change. LGBTQ, Black Lives Matter, pro-choice, pro-life, ASPCA, feminist groups, even frowned upon groups such as the KKK and countless other groups use social media as their way of spreading the word about the need for change in the eyes of their organization. The use of social media has also been used to recruit individuals for terrorist organizations. John Carlin, Assistant Attorney General for National Security at the Department of Justice, stated that most cases of domestic terrorism could be linked to the use of social media for recruitment and propaganda. Technology can either hinder or improve relationships, socializing, and ways of thinking. There are huge technological and societal issues within the field of psychology. The technological issue comes from a lack of adequate technology. In the hospital I used to work for, group notes and individual notes were all handwritten, which made for more work, more working hours, and inefficiency of documentation and recording. There is also a concern for confidentiality and security, which is difficult to achieve with paper documents. In addition, a societal issue stems from the stigma surrounding mental health disorders, as well as those who seek help. This stigma expands into a lack of funding due to a lack of support for those who suffer from mental illness and mental health disorders. Because we are such a fast-paced society, there is a need for instant gratification. This instant gratification leads to advancements of technology that allow things to be done faster. U.S. manufacturing jobs have decreased by about 14%. That's a 2016 statistic, and have been replaced by robots. Manufacturing of technology itself has increased by over 47%. Emerging technologies have caused many issues with bullies hiding behind a screen, preying on their victims. According to a study that the Cyberbully Hotline quoted, of the 42% of teens with access to the internet, 20% think about suicide and 1 in 10 attempt suicide. That is a huge problem for my discipline because suicide ranks number 3 in killers of teens. Suicide is a societal issue, not an individual issue, because we are supposed to function as a collective society, not every man for himself or herself. Suicide also touches many lives, like the ripples in a pond reaching many points. Now let's get into the bulk of the issue. Parents have been increasingly spending less time with their children and instead have introduced technology as a babysitter. Development of educational television, video games, and videos have led to a highly addicted generation of young people. Children of today's society have become more reliant on screen time and less on getting outside and exploring the world around them. Children are, for a lack of better terms, addicted to the devices which they are given. This is also true for the adults in their lives. Adults have become so involved in their smartphones, televisions, and other technologies and are spending less time interacting with their children. It is estimated that children spend 6 hours per day on technology. In the video provided in this slide, there is an infant who is given a device. When the device is taken away, The infant screams despite being surrounded by other toys. When the mother gives the device back, the infant goes back to being okay. You can hear the mother laughing in the background, showing that parents aren't typically understanding the issue with the devices. Please feel free to click the video or copy and paste the link in your browser. So who is impacted by children having too much screen time anyway? Children are impacted first, then their parents, then I would argue the rest of society. The child's mind is extremely malleable, and critical periods in a person's life for social and emotional development are all throughout childhood. There are also critical periods for language development, which happens before puberty. Too much screen time hinders this development. The world of the internet is not always a safe place. Children are more vulnerable because they don't typically know what to look for in an unsafe internet experience. Children who are active on the internet may unknowingly invite an unsolicited guest in the form of a human trafficker, pedophile, hacker, and much more. This allows me to see that not only does too much screen time affect social and emotional development, but it also harbors on the overall safety of our youth. Now let's look at this from an interdisciplinary perspective. According to Cyberbully Hotline, the average child is given their own cell phone at the age of 11 and a half. But this does not mean a child does not have access to technology before this age. According to the American College of Pediatrics, 18% of children aged 0 to 18 had a television in their room. 60% of children aged 0 to 2 watch television on a regular basis. It affects overall social and emotional development and leads to more anxious children. These facts are dramatic because the effects of the amount of time doing helpful activities like human contact, exploring outdoors, and communicating with others and the caregiver are minimal. Various studies reported by the College of Pediatricians show that there is a vast impact on language development when parents use technology such as tablets, mechanical technology, and television to teach their children. So how do we fix the issue? For starters, timers and parental blockers can be used more, and they could be more accessible and user-friendly. Social media can also be used. And when I say this, I mean I would create a social media support group that helps, not scolds parents in working with their children to decrease screen time. Implementing this plan would be difficult because most parents are going to do what works well for them. However, this is the easiest way to reach parents because social media is where many parents spend most of their time. In fact, 81% of Americans use social media according to a 2017 statistic. Next, I would also suggest that there be an ongoing discussion with parents and caregivers at every doctor's appointment, much like Safe Sleep and SIDS is talked about. Many Americans are too busy for classes, and social media is a great way to get the word out without anyone ever having to go out of their way. Thank you all for watching and listening to my presentation, and I hope you find the resources helpful to you as well.